All right. Um, here we go. So, wait, just look on the monthly just to get an update. So YM created relative equal highs with last month's candle. Um, we haven't dug into a premium, or sorry, a discount on the monthly yet, which is not necessary, but on the weekly, we do have a little bit of a fair value gap forming, but I wouldn't care too much about it just because we immediately have started rejecting. So unless today, like the next week was green, then yeah, I wouldn't care. But yeah, on the daily, wait, okay, on the daily, we do have the new week opening gap that never got tapped into um, right here, and we've got somewhat relative equal lows forming at the close on Friday. So that's kind of my area of interest there. We also have the equal highs up here, which is the draw, I think, on liquidity. Um, but with that logic, you could um, use like um, this as a draw on liquidity, though, still, just to get short into the long drawn liquidity up there. So that's kind of what I'll probably be looking for. My main idea is the draw on liquidity higher, though. So um, if I do get in short, I will definitely be trading smaller size unless it's like news and it looks really clean and everything is always like there that it should be. Um, relative equal highs on the highs, but the log hasn't been traded into yet, so shorts make sense, but longs are still my main watch for longs into highs. Just because we still are holding and respecting the wick, the CE of the wick there, which was the bounce area here, which was the long that I missed. Um, that doesn't mean like we won't trade lower though. It's just interesting that we're holding that. But yeah, it would be interesting if we came and took out this old SMT area with Russell, and that would be the long on Russell. Um, on the daily, we don't have any displacement, but on the 4 hour, we have these relative equal highs with a 4 hour fair value gap here. Oh, which did get traded into there and respected, but there are relative equal highs now, so I think this area still is an area of interest. But lower here, we did get one there. Not really noteworthy for me though. If we do come down, um, we could easily come below the Newwick opening gap, and maybe trade down into a discount on this range, which is going to be you know below that fair value gap unless we use the candle bodies. Then it's inside of it. So yeah, I'm just gonna be looking for where we could reverse here. Makes sense to come all the way back down to here, just because this you might say that this range has already been balanced and will respect the CE of this daily fair value gap. But we're not there yet, and we'll need more information as we're going down. Wouldn't really know where we would bounce, but somewhere inside of here, I'm assuming. Um, yeah, I mean, it could just be a discount of this range here, like that. So, yeah, and we're already almost at a discount if we use this. So, yeah, inside of here makes sense. So, well, I'm definitely gonna put an alert here, and then this is just the old high. So, we might even be using that as like the soup level. Soup out all this, and then maybe just hold the new week opening gap altogether. Um, on the 1 hour, it came up, traded into a fair value gap. Excuse me. Um, forming relative equal lows. So definitely think we could soup these, come down here, bounce, come back up for a short. So I'll be looking. This is a nice area here on the 1 hour. So I'm gonna note this too. 1 hour, 4 hour, and yeah, that's basically all the levels. I mean, unless we jump down to the 15-minute, but nothing really changes. It's kind of the same idea. Um, this was just the old area of interest that I had that literally perfectly nailed it here, and I missed out on that. Let's see here. So yeah, we use these lows and soup those for the next highs, created more lows and soup those, but then barely took out the high and really failed. So makes a lot of sense. We'll come down here, take this out, and what do we have there? Old PD array that never got tapped into. So clear drawn liquidity to lower. Obviously, we need to line that up with the other indices, but I like lower than higher. So the immediate look for a trade would be, you know, premium shorts. This will be a level of interest, and this will be a level of interest. So I don't think that we're just going to rally off of it. I mean, we could easily because this is that same area, but we'll see what happens. Looking at just the displacements here. Yeah, failure to displace on the daily, failure to displace on the 4 hour. I mean, this one was there, but that's since been completely invalidated, and now we have a 4 hour shift here. So here's a valid shift, and now we do have another 4 hour shift here, which I actually will mark that out. Didn't think it would be that significant. Um, yeah, and this wasn't that deep of a soup of the old highs, so it would make sense to come, down into here, even lower, rebalancing this candle. I think this little area there maybe might be the level. This order block here. That might be the area of interest. That's where we had some nice SMT that never got traded into either with Russell. But we'll have to look at the intermarket analysis first to determine any of that. Russell so far similar to YM. No relative equal highs though. Um, but on the daily, we're closing candles, so there's a lot of liquidity up here. I don't think that we're just gonna, well, we could, but it would make sense to take these out, be back testing it constantly before we go higher. Yeah, no discount on the monthly. I don't even think that we would. Um, on the weekly, huge new week opening gap. That's been respected, traded into, body closed into that. Russell's looking really bullish to me. Um, Lots of SMT here, intermediate term with YM. It looks like it wants to hold this level, maybe bounce. Maybe we'll have one more little move down and back up. But so far, we're respecting the daily uh, inefficiency, CE. Candle bodies are closing above it. That doesn't mean, yeah, we could head one more low, but I think the body would still close above that. So I really like Russell a lot more, just where it's at right now for a long. Um, how do we get long? We'll see. But yeah, we've completely rebalanced a lot of these candles, but um, it does seem like we're gonna move up soon. We swept these. I don't know why this isn't marked out. So these old lows are being swept and then respected and then taken out again, holding the fair value gap, and then traded back into sweeping out the highs. That's interesting. So a lot of liquidity here being traded and manipulated. Um, we had this 4-hour fair value gap inside of the new week opening gap form, which confirmed that as a shift, but as you can see, very strongly kind of respecting this daily. But there's no shifts out of here on the higher time frame, so that's why I'm open-minded for this to come lower. If this had formed a 4-hour shift, I would be looking to get long like today. And it did on the 1 hour, but it just wasn't the right time given it did close the week here, so it could be just a big gap up sort of a trade, which sucks, but yeah, we're not really trading into this fair value or this order block though, so that's why I think maybe this could be a soup long down here using the wick. Maybe we take out the wick and that's the soup there to get long. Obviously we'll be waiting and we'll need more information though. Maybe we come down, soup these lows, take that out. But I still like this as an area of interest currently. I don't know how to get long. It just seems like Friday was the long, but the way it moved up just wasn't what you wanted to see. So, but yeah, so obviously we'll mark out this low here. I think this is the SMT with YM. It's going to show up. Hasn't synced yet. But yeah, that is the SMT with YM. Okay. Nice. And this manipulation respected this area, which would be interesting to look at on the relative to the Dow. Yeah, that's exactly that old area of interest that I had before the new week opened. Interesting. We would need a little bit more zoomed in though. So why was this an area of interest? Okay, yeah. So traded into this CE of this order block. which that's where, yeah, that's where Russell really took off versus the Dow. And then, and then, I don't know. This was just the Friday morning London close. Which is, hmm, that would be interesting if YM came down here, because that lines up with this area that we're looking at. Because that's exactly where Russell tapped into, was this order block. So I'm just going to keep that a little bit labeled. This order block here was where we sort of had this shift back into the Dow, where this happened. They both gapped up. No, this is kind of that area. Never mind. Because they both gapped up there. Actually, no. Yeah, this is where, because Russell barely moved there, and the Dow was already taken off. So there was a little shift here, and this shift was back testing this order block. Very, very interesting. I'm gonna keep an alert here. Nice. And leave a little note. Yeah, so YM has an order block that was used to rotate the strength from RTY into the YM, and that lines up nicely with the daily CE fair value gap, where we beneath the NLOG. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that's kind of cool. Um, we've already back tested that. Russell is going. We're seeing strength rotate back into the Russell, and maybe once the Dow taps it back into that order block, maybe that's when the Dow, will get back into the swing of things. And then maybe right now, we'll both, hmm, they'll both go up there. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, they'll both go up either way. And yeah, we'll look for an internal range shift from an order block. So yeah, I do like this level though. I think this will hold, and it is just a matter of getting some more price action. I mean, this is just tough because this little soup here was really, you know, this is the, we just need to zoom in more. Yeah, we shifted above this area and then soup that. So if you look here, I mean, we are respecting the top end of it, but it's just not super clean. Maybe the 1 minute. I just think we're going to use the wick. I think these are relative equal lows. This is the BPR, and we're going to come back down here. This is going to literally be the, yeah, let me really zoom in here. Man, maybe we're going to have to do 5 seconds. Let's try it. Oh, man. Well, we'll just use the CE of that. So, not the 5 minute, we'll use the 1 minute. So yeah, just the CE of this wick, I think it's going to hold. I think this is the fair value gobble setup. You just can't see it because the wick is too fast. But we got relative equal lows here. And that kind of lines up with the the 1 minute. This could even come down and take out this wick, so can't get too, well, I mean that's just such a big displacement. It seems like it's got to hold. So yeah, I'm just gonna set an alert here, just because that's exactly, like I might just set a pending order there during the week. We had relative equal highs here. Those already have gotten souped, literally into a discount basically. I don't think it needs to be tapped into more. And that's exactly what we did here. We souped that on the news. There was an inefficiency there. It's already been traded into. So I would just be buying below these equal lows here. So like right there. Yeah, that lines up with that little CE there. So just measuring out what's possible here. If you just traded it back up into these old equal highs up into here, or the new week opening gap, I mean, this is a good trade. So yeah, I'd love to see what happens here on the Dow. They're so zoomed in. Because we already have SMT here. Oh man, this is tough. Yeah, so I think I'd want to see Dow be down into here before I would just mark it in long. Even then though, I just would want it to take out anything, honestly. I think if it took out this low, or even just souped, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This might be enough here, as long as it takes this out. The other thing here is, the other indices. So we'll look at that too. But I mean, this is an old inversion. The funny thing is that this is I guess there was no relative equal lows, but this should just go right now. It just seems like it's ready to go. Little 15-minute fair value gap there. I mean, this is the inversion fair value gap. There wasn't any equal lows. There was these. And then we tapped into it. And then bing, bang, boom. SMT, SMT, smaller time frame SMT. But that's the thing. Russell is always the little manipulator. So I think maybe we'd actually look for, yeah, a smaller this time frame, 5 minute, 15-minute, for Russell to take these lows out and actually to see YM hold. That that would be really strong, I think, especially if it lined up with everything we're looking for. So watch for the RTY manipulation as YM creates smaller time frame SMT for a bullish reversal. But yeah, it is tricky though. The thing is, it has taken out liquidity here. It has taken out liquidity, and it doesn't need to go down here. That's why it's tricky. It could come all the way back up here, and then Russell really rips, and then comes all the way back down. It doesn't need to do it right now. So it could just be manufacturing more liquidity, and then come bounce off of this, come up here, and then rotate back down, something like that. But yeah, I like that. It's a little complicated, but simple as just what's happening, when we take out these lows? Has YM created, is Russell creating weakness SMT or manipulation SMT, or is YM, coming down and taking out another low? That's kind of the criteria I'm looking for. Nice. All right. So yeah, this is definitely a pretty clean play. I still would also be watching YM for, longs and shorts, and also gold and silver. So let's look at the ES. So far, another big move up on the monthly on ES. Wow, it looks tiny on the log chart. That's crazy. I haven't really looked at how much we've moved off of these lows. Holy 56%. That's insane. Didn't even realize that. All right, but yeah, it's just moving up. Weekly looks pretty good. Um, little fair value gap now created. All right. Daily, we have come down and respected this daily fair value gap. But it looks like it met it. Yeah, it played out and it met its targets here. So I like how cleanly it respected that. But now that it's already delivered to the high, then it's like this level isn't as important anymore. Though it could be for just resistance type, yeah, weak, yeah, whatever. But anyways, daily definitely has shifted now and then delivered higher. Um, 4 hour. Um, man, yeah, this kid already traded into new week opening gap there. I think this is just going to create some new levels here on the Sunday Open, and to me, this is just a tough one to trade because we're at all-time highs. This, I mean, obviously, you just go long, but yeah, the levels just aren't as clean. Oh, wait. You've got relative equal lows here with fair value gobble. So maybe this order block will also hold. The draw on liquidity is just higher. So we also got somewhat relative equal lows down here, but not super clean price action for me to really like it. Soup those highs. Reaccumulated the daily. Um, Relative equal lows here. So yeah, I think this kind of the same thing as Russell. Looks like it would want to. We would want to see Nasdaq or YM. We'd want to see everything hold, not the Russell. We'd want to see everything hold if we came up for these lows, or we'd want to see everything break these lows and YM be the only one, or Nasdaq to be the only one to hold. So this is definitely an SMT area to be looking for, and then um, I would think this order block, no, this order block, this is the real one. Came and took liquidity, came lower, came and took liquidity, internal. But you could just mark this all as one order block. Maybe it would come all the way down here. We'd probably want to take out this high, but there's just, yeah, tricky. But yeah, basically you just get long somewhere here. You line it up with SMT. So yeah, long on the ES. So yeah, if we're coming and tapping here and Russell is like inside of it, that wick, that kind of all makes sense for a long if it's all kind of happening at the same time. But other than that, I don't think I would just get short. Ugh. I'd have to get short if there was like I just don't know. I always end up getting smoked trying to short these highs. So yeah. Yeah, if it was gonna go lower, then yeah, I would expect it to sweep out these wick lows and maybe test this order block or this propulsion block here. Takes out liquidity, creates an order block on top of that, respecting the CE rips. So this was the propulsion block. We cracked it, trade back into it. Super good long on the daily first swing. But yeah, I don't like this. I do not like I don't know what that is, dude. It's just blurred. The only area of interest is going to be these lows and then this high. But yeah. So yeah, pretty simple on ES. This is the only thing I'm interested in at all. I know the flow was bearish, but yeah, can't really time that for a short. So yeah, moving on to Nasdaq. Nasdaq, same thing, moving up on the monthly, daily, or sorry, weekly, shifting up nicely, breaking out of that wedge, uh, souping the prior daily low. Yeah, just a big ol' inefficiency forming. Huh. It's almost like it just wants to wick it and then just have a huge rebalance candle. Relative equal highs, soup, soup that. I would not be surprised with the bearish flow. So yeah, I honestly would be looking for a short on Nasdaq because I'm looking for a long on Russell. It does make sense to look short Nasdaq ES, though it's not like a setup is forming. Just, there's what am I going off of other than we're at a high. So we did soup these. I think we still have another hit to the high most likely. If Nasdaq reverses, I'd expect it to come all the way back down here most likely. Back down below the highs into this, soup these old highs maybe again. It just looks like a good short down into here. This is like what it would usually do. I don't think this is, that's, yeah, it'd want to soup that too. So yeah, gonna look for a short on NASDAQ. This is the only, I mean, obviously the long too, but, um, yeah, just on the higher time frame, it's just too clean. Like there's, relatively equal highs here. You know, we took them out, but then immediately manufactured liquidity here, and then bounced, ripped, and took those out. Manufactured more liquidity here, took those out. Had an order block that never came and back tested it, and so now everyone's still waiting for that back test. We soup this, back test it, have a small bounce, and then just rip down, back down into this range before we start the next leg or something, if we're gonna keep going up. So that's just what I like to see. It's not actually like a confirmed setup by any means. But yeah, obvious 4 hour fair value gap here. Um, it's the only thing that I'd look for into a long. And yeah, we've got support resistance level here that would line up for the soup into this 4 hour. This is somewhat forming fair value gobble, but we'd want to see, that's enough, honestly. High and a low, making this a liquidity level. And then we soup back down into here. And yeah, we got that same order block, but it might even just stop here. So yeah, lining that up with ES for initial longs, line up the 4 hour CE with what's going on with ES, such as SMT as NQ just goes into the CE while ES takes out the order block here. So look at this. Where is it? What are we looking at? Oh, here we go. This order block here. So there's already SMT there. So there's SMT here. ES has already taken it. So it would be interesting if we came down, souped it, tapped into this order block, which would be down here. NASDAQ could come all the way down to this order block and tap it, while ES is sweeping out these lows and tapping this order block or this one. So that would, it looks clean. We got lows here on everything. But at the same time, it could just be literally up from here. Lower low, lower low. While NASDAQ makes higher lows. But it does have a lot of room to trade down into that. So honestly, I just think they're distributing this. And then they're going to come back down, take it back up, redistribute again. So, so yeah, as we came back down, I'd want to see let's see here, into this range. So let's see what we would expect. Well, we've already created SMT here to get long. I just think, honestly, this didn't tap into an order block though. That's the only reason I still like the long. But yeah, ES could come take out these lows and NASDAQ doesn't. Or no, NASDAQ already delivered on that. So we had this SMT here, boom boom, and then NASDAQ delivered higher. And then We took out the lows again while we were at the highs. And then Nasdaq actually sold off there. So I think it makes sense to, I think it's still the same thing. So cool. That's kind of the plan for the indices. Now let's look at what I think is going to be easier to trade. So I might even just ignore that stuff. Not really, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. So on the weekly, we've had a nice shift down here on, or at least a displacement down on gold and silver with soups like power of three short. It's all happening, and we tapped into this PD array, shifted down, very weak, and silver really leading the charge after manipulating these highs as like a six sister. Um, so I still think these highs want to be taken out again on silver, giving the nice short here again on gold. Doesn't need to happen, but we're still stuck in this little range here. There's no highs here, huh? Yep. So anyways, just going back to the daily. We've shifted down. We're respecting this move down here. Lots of candles. They're holding price here. And while that happened, while gold got this large move up into here, silver failed to even get above this order block CE. So it makes sense it could reverse from here. But yeah, I still would want to see. Technically, we did get an SMT here. Oops. So we got this move lower. Relative equal lows was taken. I'll move back up here. I'll move consolidation, and then this is where gold created really strong SMT. They both sold off, and then silver actually continued and took out the low. So to me, that's actually a sign of some strength here showing. And then obviously that's exactly what delivered, was a little bit of strength versus gold. And now we've come down, we've taken out this high on silver. We do have relative equal highs still though, a large pool of liquidity, but we do have this SMT here. And it would make sense for it to, I mean, I guess it took out that high too, huh? So it might just be irrelevant, that high. But it's just not deep enough for me to be super confident with, just because it could easily come back up. But after that though, gold actually came down and took out these lows. So I think I'm right here. I think it is going to come higher, soup these highs again. It may even come all the way up here. Doesn't need to, but it could easily. We've got that manipulation here in gold. I think they both come up. Gold may come pretty deep here, trade into this order block since this has already been rebalanced here on the daily inefficiency. And we got highs in here in gold, but it could easily come all the way back up here, tap into this order block, tap into this wick. It could even come all the way back up into here. So what we'll be looking for is just for silver to, we could initially head lower here. Gold might even want to take out this low since this is a nice little pool of liquidity now. So yeah, we got relative equal lows here. So area of interest there, area of interest up here. It was traded into already though. And then on silver, we had this low. So we had this low and this low, and then gold's taking that out. So yeah, I could see silver coming back down into this wick. Um, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we're not done yet. I think we'd want to take out some more liquidity, maybe here gold, and then have that move back up. But other than that, this internal range isn't as clear to me. Um, we had strength here. We had the weakness here in silver, giving us the move up. In that move up, we took out liquidity here, but barely. Yeah, we took out this range. So now we have reason to reverse. We have reason to reverse. We have reason to reverse here. And since then, we've created right into there, we've created short-term SMT as well as higher time frame SMT. Here in silver, and then internal into this range. That's what we're going to be looking at. So starting here, little high here, there was the gold SMT here, and then that gave the reversal short. Wait, what? Okay, we came up into here, but then silver took it out. It's just like Russell and YM, just like them. So silver takes that out. We both get the move down. Now we've got the opposite SMT happening, and this is where it gets tricky, because now gold's taking out this low, it's taking out this low, it's taking out that low. Um, we've tapped into this order block here, and then we created SMT here again after gold took out the lows. So silver got that nice little rotation back up with gold being weak. But then it did take out that high, and we got the same Russell type move here, where at the last minute we'll create SMT, and then we got moves down on both. This rotation here, we're seeing strength. No, we're seeing weakness. Yeah, so we're seeing weakness here in silver, which is why we delivered lower. And then we made SMT here, right here, into this low. So right now we're seeing weakness in silver, and we're seeing strength in gold. And gold has already manipulated these lows, taking out a large pool of liquidity. So if anything, yeah, I think we are going to head up, at least the immediate term. Is this the fair value gobble? Wow, fair value gobble here happening on the close. Boom, relative equal lows, order block in between PD arrays, came down, tapped that. Doesn't mean this is the low, but it could easily come, lower into this. We got relative equal lows here too, holding the order block down here. And then now we're seeing strength here in silver. Interesting. So that was a long right into the close, clearly. Right into that. So yeah, I think we see both of these guys head higher. We're seeing strength here in silver. We're seeing short-term manipulation in silver, and then a soup into the lows with now strength showing up in silver. Or sorry, yeah, yeah. So this might literally be a buy at the open if we open up where we're at right now. So I might actually speculate long on that. Probably on gold just because the setup is more clear. Um, but it could be on either because they both have a nice draw on liquidity. Equal highs, both both of these highs. And as one of them hits it, taps into that, you'd get out of either one. So cool. Yeah, that's my plan on gold and silver. So part of this is because we're getting SMT at the lows into areas of interest where we could easily bounce. So yeah, we've taken out a large pool of liquidity here, obviously on gold. We've created a literal SMT at those lows, from that low to that low, from to the lows. So I'm thinking the bottom is technically in, and yeah, I think it's literally along at the open. So I need to be here on the charts. So cool. Yeah, long on Sunday, and then we'll see what happens on the indices tomorrow. I think it's the same thing, honestly, on the indices. I think the open could just be a nice gap up. So we'll reevaluate tomorrow. But as for now, I do like this literally when we open lower low here and then a lower low. Just like constantly. They were waiting for Sunday. But yeah, that's the plan. So and that's all that I got. So adios. Oh wait, I already went over my flow in my Discord, but selling calls, buying puts, but there was call buying in the tide. Um, just double check. Yeah, call buying in the tide though, so that's why I think it's up and then down. So it all my ideas were purely based on the chart, not biased from the flow, but the flow confirms it.